All right, so we've all got our venison recipes that we know and love, and I've got something that's maybe a little bit different that you haven't tried before. It's more like an appetizer. It's a really fresh snack, and this is a teriyaki venison steak bite. All right, so I've got my chunk of venison here, and this is a piece of steak meat from the top round. We are going to cut this up into cubes, season it up, and start cooking it. The next step will be to get this all into a bowl, and we'll put some salt and pepper on there, season it just a little bit, make sure that every little cube has just a hit of salt and pepper. And once that's coated and mixed in, we'll put some cornstarch on there and get a coating, an even coating on every single piece with some cornstarch as well. All right, so I'm going to take a couple spoonfuls of cornstarch. Like I said, just sort of mix things around and make sure there's an even coating of cornstarch on everything. And what I like to do is leave this for just maybe a minute once I put the first batch of cornstarch on there, because it's going to start to absorb into the meat. And then once it starts to look a little bit wet again, I'll add another little coat just to make sure there's a dry layer on top. Okay, so as we're waiting for the meat to absorb some of that cornstarch, we're just going to get the teriyaki sauce going right now in the pan. So I'm just grabbing some chopped onion and some green pepper. I kind of chopped them into like a 1/4 inch type piece, and a little bit of a teriyaki sauce. I'm gonna hit in the pan. Just a little bit of canola oil. Pan's hot, onions go in. I'm going to cook these for just a few seconds to warm them up, and then I will put the peppers in alongside them. So I'm not looking to really cook these peppers and onions down too much. I want them to have a bit of crunch to them yet when you have a bite. Teriyaki sauce is going in. We'll just pour that into the pan. This part of the process isn't anything overcomplicated. I've taken some canola oil, I've brought it up to around 350 degrees, 370 degrees, somewhere around there. And I am just putting the meat in for about a minute. It's really hot, it's gonna fry this. It's gonna crisp up that outer coating of cornstarch really nicely. And in goes the first one. What I'm making sure I'm doing too is just shaking off all of the excess so there's not just a ton of powder cornstarch floating around in the oil. I just want to make sure that each one is shaken off before I throw it in there. All right, so these really only have been in there for about 60 to 70 seconds, and they're totally done. You definitely don't want to overcook them. Okay, so we've got our hot steak bites. They're going into the hot sauce, and we are just going to swirl them around in that teriyaki sauce and just make sure everything's nice and coated. And these things, they can be eaten, again, just basically like an appetizer. You can grab them with a toothpick, grab them with a fork. I've got some lettuce cups here as well, and they're amazing with just, you know, wrapped up into a lettuce leaf and eaten like that, like a little lettuce steak bite burrito. I'm gonna finish this with a little bit of sesame seed and some chopped green onions. All right, so a little finishing move I like to do with this is some toasted sesame oil. Put that on, it's gonna add just a nice, cozy flavor to the whole thing. The moment of truth, we got to eat it. So what I like to do is take just a little bit of steak, throw it into one of these. This is just like a butter lettuce. You can use an iceberg lettuce. Any lettuce will do. Wrap it up and give it a bite. So good. Yeah, it's just amazing. The venison honestly really comes through. You've got the sweetness from the teriyaki. It's crunchy. It's amazing with that lettuce wrap. Highly recommended. This is an amazing way to enjoy your fall harvest. Venison in a teriyaki sauce, super simple. For more information on this recipe, check out the blog post link below.